Welcome to this week's episode of Holly's Racing Fantasy. I'll bring you the latest news and what's going on around NASCAR. We'll hit the highlights from last week's race, and I'll give you my fantasy picks for this upcoming week. Join John and I for all things fantasy, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun while we do it. Stick around. Holly's Racing Fantasy is sponsored by Fifth Down Fantasy. For the latest NFL news and pro football and NASCAR picks, trust the gang over at Fifth Down Fantasy. Since 2016, Fifth Down Fantasy has been a favorite destination for football fanatics looking for smart and savvy advice and analytics. Visit fifthdownfantasy.com today. Fifth Down Fantasy, real fantasy advice by and for real fantasy players. Hey y'all, welcome to this week's episode of Holly's Racing Fantasy. We're going to go over the results for Auto Club first and foremost, and we will give a big, fat, rowdy old congratulations to Kyle Busch, who won the Auto Club. The race at Auto Club this week.
Kyle Busch is back.
Yes, he is. Number 8, newest member of Richard Childress Racing. It was pretty exciting to see.
It was very exciting.
And you know what the most fun part of the whole thing was? Fun or funny, I guess a little bit of both.
Okay.
When he got out of the car to take his bow, there were more cheers than boos.
Yeah.
Which I always find interesting, and I think it's like that on the West Coast.
He's got some rowdy nation out there.
He's got a lot of love out west.
Yes.
I don't know. It's pretty exciting, though.
Very cool. I didn't expect him to win so fast.
Which is why you didn't pick him for your fantasy team.
And I'm really excited I picked Kyle Larson.
Yeah, I think you and everybody else.
Kyle, just as in Larson.
Right. Well, we'll get into what happened with Kyle Larson a little later.
Okay.
Suffice to say that he busted a lot of brackets, if you're into that type of thing.
People might have lost a few mortgages, houses.
A few dollars.
Few
pennies in the bank. Few pennies out of the bank now.
Yes, not good.
Second place was Chase Elliott.
Okay.
Which wish he could have done that last week when I picked him because he kind of sent my season back early on with his... What's up with the Hendrick cars?
I don't know.
First, Chase Elliott. We'll get to that later, too.
Okay.
All right. You know what? Third place, the pesky old Ross Chastain.
Yes.
Daniel Suarez fourth. So we had the 1-2 combination there, Trackhouse Racing working together to come in third and fourth.
Okay.
And Bakersfield boy, Kevin Harvick, comes in fifth.
Yeah.
Which was great. I mean, that's fine.
He would have been a great pick for somebody.
He would. Well, he was a good pick. I picked him, but,
Yeah.
He was all right.
Yeah,
but
I picked Kyle Larson.
We'll get to Kyle
Real
Larson
happy
a little
about
bit later.
that.
As for Kevin Harvick, it had been 22 years ago to the day that he started, or that he won his first Cup Series race.
Wow.
22 years.
At this track?
No,
not this track, but just his
to
first.
the day. Yeah,
to the day.
And that was his 792nd start.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so I imagine he's obviously going to make it to 800 unless he gets a concussion and
it's going to be weird without Kevin Harvick.
It's going to be so weird.
Yeah,
so weird.
Because he's just been a staple. I mean, it's always like that when you lose like Jeff Gordon or you lose Jimmy Johnson.
Or Junior even.
Or Junior.
I remember when Carl Edwards left.
Yeah.
That was really depressing.
Yeah, especially because he kind of... I don't know. I think he just got pissed off and quit.
Yeah, I think
he didn't win that. Was it Daytona?
No, it was the championship.
It was the championship race.
It was the final.
Okay.
Yeah,
I knew it was in Florida.
Yeah.
There were a lot of guns going off.
Right, championship.
And alligators.
Lots of alligators. It was a championship race at Homestead.
Yes.
And it was Carl Edwards to win, and he got knocked out of contention, and that's how Jimmy Johnson ended up winning the championship.
He had the subway car, right?
Yeah, the subway
He'd
car.
do the backflips.
Oh, I loved the backflips. That was so much fun. Yeah. But it was hard to take for Carl Edwards because he just disappeared. It was like, oh, guess what? I'm not coming back next year.
Yeah.
See ya.
Yeah. So that's kind of weird. Yeah. So we're way off the path here because we're...
That's all right. That's what we talk about.
Yeah,
what else are we going to
talk about?
We have a format here?
Well...
Well,
As your
do.
producer,
Okay.
I got to keep you moving.
All right. So when we move, okay, that's really it. That wraps up the whole Auto Club.
That was really it.
And that was the last, folks, as we mentioned before. That was the last. Oh, here's what I wanted to say. Yeah. Kyle Busch. His first Cup Series win was at Auto Club. And now he is the last Cup Series winner before Auto Club gets a new facelift.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. It's pretty cool.
And then it will be Mario Kart.
And then it will be Mario Kart. Oh, and okay, final Kyle Busch, and I promise we'll move along.
All right.
Final Kyle Busch, over his radio, when he crossed the finish line,
Yep.
they said, "Welcome to RCR, baby."
Yeah.
First of many.
It will be the first.
It will
of
be the
many.
first of many.
He's back.
I said in my written article this week, which you can catch on fifthdownfantasy.com, in my written article, I said, from now on, Kyle Busch is going to place in the top 10 every week.
Yeah.
I said maybe, but don't count him out.
Yeah. Do you
gonna be
think
crazy.
Joe Gibbs is crying?
I hope so. I hope he is crying.
It was such a really bad move on their part, if you think about it.
Well, but you know what? Maybe Kyle needed that change.
Yeah.
You know, he probably needed to move on somewhere else because, boy, was he stagnant and stale.
Yeah.
All right.
Something in that 8 car, too.
Yeah.
Something
about that 8 car because
Tyler
now
Reddick had it last year.
And now that Tyler Reddick's not in it,
He's not doing too well so far.
a rough season.
Yeah.
I told y'all not to pick him last week.
Yeah.
Him and Allmendinger both went.
Yep.
And Michael McDowell, did I say?
Yeah.
I put him in my bonkers list, and he ended up 18th, I think.
Yep.
So hooray for me. That's a yay. And real quick about Kyle Larson.
Yeah. My buddy Kyle Larson.
Thanks to the crappy weather in California, who knew it was going to snow? There was no practice and there was no qualifying.
Yeah.
And therefore, Kyle Larson's pit crew could not tell that he had an engine issue, and his day was over before it even began.
Yeah, but I still have a bone to pick with that.
Okay, what
was the crew doing all weekend then? Like nobody else had that issue.
Well, yeah. Well,
I mean,
yeah, I
you
know
know,
what
you can go to Advanced Auto Parts and they can like scan your engine with like one of those like $100 things and be like, oh yeah, you need a new this. Or,
Right,
I mean, like,
true.
couldn't you just make sure the car was running?
And ready to go.
I don't know. I don't know much about that, but it's probably more complicated than I'm making it sound. But
Maybe, but it does seem kind of.
it just seems a little weird.
Especially that quick.
Yeah.
Like I can see if it was like 50 laps and all of a sudden
Yeah.
it seized up, but
Yeah. I mean, like right at the beginning,
Right,
it's
yeah.
like, okay.
yeah,
I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah,
I don't know. I'm scared to pick him.
I'm a little scared.
Like,
well, yeah.
He came back the first year he came back after his
yeah.
hiatus,
Yes.
and he was incredible.
Yes. He won the championship.
Yeah. And then the second year,
That was last year. Yep.
not so much.
Not so much.
No, because my brother had him,
On his fantasy team.
and it basically killed him.
yeah.
It didn't really do him much good.
Right.
So
Well-
I don't know. The Hendricks boys, I don't know. I'm
You're
know.
skeptical.
Yeah.
You're skeptical.
Yeah.
And well, we'll see. We'll see what happens as the years go on. As the year goes on, let's
Yeah.
not count them out yet.
Yeah. Not yet, but we'll see.
All right. Well, next thing we're going to do is head over to the NASCAR news. Let's get some NASCAR news. Not that there's much of it. There's not a lot of NASCAR news this week.
Yeah.
Again. And it's because the season has already started. What's really going on? Everybody has signed their contract extensions. All the other things have happened. They've wrapped everything up.
No fights in the race.
No fights for
No
you
fights
this week.
yet.
But I will say that thanks to Kyle Busch's win at Auto Club, Kyle and Kurt Busch now hold the record for the most combined Cup victories for a pair of brothers at 95.
95 years of age.
And they both look great. 95 victories between them.
Yeah.
And that will obviously increase as Kyle continues to ride.
And you never know. Maybe Kurt will come back.
You never do know. You
Probably
never know.
not, but
Well, you never know.
yeah.
So this week, since there's not a lot of news, we're going to have 2 new brief segments. One is a little segment for John. He's going to talk about what stalls his motor for something, from here and there we'll have something crappy that happens at the track, and that John gets mad about when we're watching the race. And he's yelling at the TV. And
curse words.
Yeah, and we'll bring that in.
We'll bring that all in.
And I am so excited and happy that the boys in the booth did not let me down this week.
Yep.
Because we can do our segment, Sexy Booth Talk.
Oh, yeah.
We each have one thing that was said in the booth where we looked at each other saying, oh my God, did he just say that?
Yeah. Use your imagination.
Use your imagination.
Yep.
Okay, so first up, John, what stalls your motor? God, that sounds like a couple of old cars I used to have.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to open up that hood, pop open that carburetor, spray the ethanol down in there.
Yeah.
Then it would start right up.
Yeah.
But, John, tell us all this week at Auto Club what stalled your motor.
Okay. This is what stalled my motor this week. And my engine may not stall every week, but I just got really mad in regards to Martin Truex, his pit crew. Well, specifically one person, the tire changer.
Right.
I mean, seriously, it
or whoever was supposed to catch the tire.
You can't really blame him.
You picked a fine time to leave me loose, wheel.
Yeah. Is that how it goes?
That's how DW sang.
Right. But seriously, like, your one job. And I know the tires are heavy. I mean, they're heavy.
Right, but someone's got to get that thing.
The car parks, you get out there, it's like one bolt now.
Right.
And you roll it to the person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I would be all right if if he's tripped.
Yeah, sure.
He fell.
Right.
You know?
I know.
But he didn't even look at the guy he's rolling it to. And he just throws a tire, and it ended up in Chase Elliott's
pit.
Right.
Who almost hit it.
Right. So where did Martin finish?
I believe he finished 11th. I usually don't look farther.
It's a miracle that he did.
It really is a miracle.
And then didn't his tire fall off too? Like, he was...
Right.
Something else happened to the poor guy.
Right. He really overcame quite a bit this week.
Yeah.
But that's the thing, is where would Martin Truex Jr. have finished if they had got his tire on?
Right.
And my thought is just take 2 extra seconds, man, to make sure it's all wrapped up. And then you'll get further ahead.
Yeah.
But he's also going to be without that, I think, his Jackman.
Yeah.
And you know, his team is penalized for it this week. Well,
it's a team sport.
I know.
You know?
It really is. The pit crew has a lot to do with how well they finish.
But it's just like, man, just take 2 extra seconds.
Right. Literally.
And make sure you look at the guy.
Hey, you got this tire?
Yeah.
Coming at you. Tire coming at you.
Look at the guy you're supposed to roll the tire to and roll it to the guy.
I know.
You know? That's your job.
That's what stalled your motor this week.
That's your job. I'm sure he does other things during the week, but you know what? Whatever his name is, I don't know. You know.
I know.
I'm not going to call him out to our 10 listeners, but
no, 10. We did reach 10 listeners.
We did.
Woohoo!
Yeah, we got 10 listeners.
We got a special notification from Anchor, right?
Yeah.
It said, "Congratulations."
Yeah.
You reached a double digits
we did.
of 10 listeners.
We got double digits.
Yep.
We are into double digits. Hopefully someday we will get into triple digits.
To triple digits, right? Exactly.
I believe it's going to happen.
I believe it is too.
Yeah.
And another shout out to thank you to my friends at work who actually listen to my podcast.
Yeah. They're the reason.
My girls, Marlo, Kelly, and Courtney.
And your mom and my mom.
And my stepmom.
Yeah. Stepmom's listening. So we're getting more people.
We are. Pass it around. Yeah. Spread the word, man.
Yeah. It's not too interesting of a week this week. You know, we're just kind of, you know.
Yeah, but Sexy Booth Talk is coming up. So that's going to be good.
Yep. That's coming up next.
All right. Thanks, everybody. Well, thanks, everybody. All right. Sexy Booth Talk coming up next. I'm getting all hot under the collar. Oh, yes. It's time for Sexy Booth Talk.
Oh, yes, it is.
This is our segment where we will each tell you a line that came from the booth. No lie, no exaggeration, exact quotes. I'm not going to tell you who said it, but it was enough to make us look at each other and say, "Hey, baby, let's head to the bedroom." This music is making me feel like I'm at a 80s concert.
80s?
Yeah.
Who?
Like Hall & Oates?
82 Oats?
Maybe.
All right.
All right, ready? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, first sexy booth talk. I'll go first.
Okay.
And here's what I heard from the booth. But I'm going to say it in a more sexual way, obviously. You know, I'm not going to say it like ding, 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 dong, dong, dong.
Right.
I'm going to say it to make it bedroom hot. Okay, ready?
Yeah, we're ready.
Chastain beats him off.
Oh. Yikes.
That was good. That was good.
Okay. That's a good one.
What sexy booth talk did you hear this week, John?
I heard. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
The first one who comes is going to have the advantage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And we all know who that's going to be.
We sure do.
So
that's the sexy booth talk for this
Yeah.
week. I love it. All right, a couple more things, and we got to get to our fantasy picks for Vegas. Oh, this is good Vegas music, too.
yeah,
What happens in Vegas stays in Vegas.
it will stay in Vegas.
I love it. Before I get to this week's fantasy NASCAR picks for Las Vegas, I just want to mention that Cooter Mouse Jr. will not be joining us this week. His UPS package got lost in the mail, and by the time we got him going,
Yeah.
it was so rainy and cold in Auto Club that we didn't want his 10 remaining kids to catch a cold or
No.
pneumonia or something.
No.
So we sent him all off up to Vegas early. So hopefully he's not lost in a slot machine or getting himself into trouble at the casino.
Not Cooter.
Not Cooter. But you'll have Cooter Mouse Jr. next week, folks.
Yeah.
All right.
You look forward to that.
Look forward to that.
Yeah.
Okay, let's start with my brilliant picks for the Pennzoil 400 presented by Jiffy Lube at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. First, Joey Logano. Yeah, we need a "Ray" sound effect or something.
Yeah,
you
we
know.
got to get the,
Ray. All right, that's a long one.
That's a long one.
That's a long one.
They love Joey.
They love
Logano.
him. They love him in Vegas.
They love him in Vegas.
Joey Logano has won here 3 times with 7 top 5 finishes, 12 top 10s, and he is a smart pick.
Yes.
Brilliant, if you dare say. Our next brilliant pick, you're gonna be mad at me, but Kyle Larson.
Never.
He has 1 win in Vegas, 5 top 5s, and 9 top 10s.
If his car runs.
But let me tell you something. Yes, he wrecked here at the last race in Vegas, but he only has 4 finishes that are outside of the top 10 since 2014. So if he can't win it here, or at least finish really well,
Right.
there's some problems.
Hopefully the engine will run.
Absolutely.
Yep.
And my third brilliant pick for Las Vegas is going to be Denny Hamlin this week.
Okay.
Denny has 1 win, 6 top 5 finishes, and 11 top 10s. And, you know, he's done well here before.
Yeah.
He's got a little sin in him. I'm sure he can do well in Sin City.
Yeah. Go Denny.
Go Denny. All right, now we're going to move on to our bold picks. And these are the ones that maybe consider like a sleeper pick. But we're going to go with Brad Keselowski.
Brad Keselowski.
Yes, because outside of Joey Logano, Brad Keselowski is the other Cup Series driver who currently has 3 wins in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Once upon a time, Brad was really good
Yeah.
on the West Coast swing.
Yeah.
And you could always count on him for Vegas and Atlanta. Well, I know Atlanta's not West Coast, but after. So Brad has 3 number 1 finishes, 8 top 5s, and 12 top 10s. And I've seen him looking better this season in the 2 races he's run than he looked last season.
Yeah.
That's for sure. I think him and Chris Buescher are finally cementing things up together.
I think he had a couple weird mistakes or
Yeah.
something. Wasn't he speeding or something?
Oh, yeah, there was a penalty.
Yeah, always something weird, but
There is.
he can still get back. He's like Kyle.
He is.
Like if he gets something that happens to him,
He can
They can get back in
he
it.
can overcome.
Even though no one else can come from that far behind.
Right. It's very true. Very
Kyle
true.
Busch and
Brad Keselowski.
they can get right back up there.
Sure can.
Yep.
Next bold pick, bear with me, but Martin Truex Jr. Martin Truex Jr. has 2 wins in Vegas.
But he's not going to have a...
7 top
Crew chief?
5s. Well, that's okay. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
I don't think that's going to matter. And he has 13 top 10s. I don't think it'll matter. I think if he doesn't win, I think he's still going to run well.
Okay.
The boy won the Clash, and he finished Daytona, and he finished Auto Club. So that's already, he's one step ahead of half the rest of the field.
Yeah. Okay.
And last but not least, Ross Chastain.
Ross
Chastain has not done well in Vegas in the past.
Okay.
Until he came to Trackhouse Racing last season. And he finished second twice.
Oh.
So, and he's a little pain in the rear end.
Yeah.
And you cannot count him out.
Nope.
So whether he wins it all or whether he just finishes right in the top, he's going to be there. Count on it.
Okay.
Okay. Now. Oh, and also honorable mentions this week. I will say honorable mention to Alex Bowman, who won it last time, and Noah Gragson, who only ran Las Vegas once in the Cup Series, and he came in 11th place.
Oh.
So honorable mentions, and of course, you never know with Kyle Busch.
Okay.
I did not put him in my fantasy list,
Yeah.
but
He's hot.
I'm not necessarily ruling him out either.
Yeah.
The only ones I'm going to tell you to stay away from this week is William Byron,
Okay.
who has 1 DNF here, 1 top 5, 3 top 10s, but I have not seen, so far between Daytona and Auto Club, William Byron has not even cracked the top 10 yet. So give him a pass until you see a little bit more from him. Eric Almirola, not feeling it. He has 4 top 10 finishes and 4 DNFs. So, yeah.
No, stay away.
And Chase Briscoe.
Oh.
I haven't seen much from him yet. I mean, he does have a top 5 here, but I don't know. I think he's having a little issues. Certainly doesn't look the way he looked at the end of last season, but he'll get there.
Right.
Just not quite this week in Vegas. And that, friends, is my NASCAR expert fantasy picks for the Pennzoil 400 presented by Jiffy Lube at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If you like what you're hearing, follow me on Facebook at Holly's Racing Fantasy for a little more information here and there. You can listen to the latest episode of Holly's Racing Fantasy every Friday whenever there's a Cup Series race, wherever you get your podcasts. Or subscribe to Holly's Racing Fantasy on YouTube for current and past episodes. Thanks. Sadly, our time has come to an end. That is going to wrap up this 3rd episode of Holly's Racing Fantasy Podcast.
Already.
I know. It's pretty strange how time is going so fast.
Yes.
Next week, we will go over the results from Las Vegas. And then we will also hit the fantasy highlights for the race after, which is Phoenix. Which is one of my favorite places.
Yes.
Obviously, I've never been there, but it's on the bucket list.
Oh, yeah.
But I love watching races at Phoenix. It's
And
like
they
the
always
coolest
try to
track.
say that, the race in Phoenix now could maybe tell who, you know, whoever races it.
Whoever races it good, baby, because it is the final race of the season.
You want to get your car looking good.
You want to get your practice, get it looking, get it up to par.
Absolutely.
Oh, and one quick thing to note, Holly's Racing Fantasy does not promote gambling to listeners under 18. Be responsible, y'all, and if you have a gambling addiction, call the National Problem Gambling Hotline at 1-800-522-4700.
Yes.
Got to get that off my chest.
There you go.
Because this is a lot of fun. This is for fun.
Yeah.
You know, I know
We're having fun.
people obviously place some serious bets on NASCAR, but
Yeah.
hey, this is fun. And do what you got to do, but be responsible.
Yep.
Okay.
All right.
So everybody, thank you once again for listening. Those of my coworkers and mothers-in-laws and anybody who's related to me like that.
Brother-in-laws.
Brothers-in-laws and And that's about it.
A couple people.
And if you do listen to me and I didn't name you, then make sure you reach out and say, hey, I listened to.
Yeah.
Because I don't know.
Put it on the Facebook, right?
Put it on the Facebook, Holly's Racing Fantasy.
Yeah, put it on the Facebook.
All right, y'all.
All right.
Everybody have a real good week this first week of March as we roll into the meteorological spring.
Yep.
And enjoy yourselves. Be careful. Stay safe. Stay healthy.
Race on.
Race on. We'll be back here next week.